Well, Carling, once again, thank you and congratulations. Down to the last three. So exciting, and I'm just so thrilled to be able to talk to you again and say good luck for next week. So how are you feeling right now watching the show?
Oh, man, it was a blast watching the show this time, and because I can tell everyone I was watching it with was just on pins and needles and went all the way through elimination, had some good shots, had some bad shots. I thought this was a really exciting episode.
Yeah, I really did too, and it showed a lot of golf. First of all, love that. Not a lot of gimmicky stuff, but true golf, which everybody is always asking to see more of that. One thing though that was interesting at the very beginning, though, watching the send save card disappear from the show, and nobody ever got sent. With all of the times we saw that card, nobody was ever sent, and I wonder if some people were a little disappointed they didn't see some of that drama.
That was actually really interesting, and because I can't remember if they told us or we already assumed, but the last person to have the send save card was me.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, this is the last chance to send somebody. I don't know if this is going to be, should I take this opportunity? Should I not take this opportunity? But at that point in the competition, I felt like I made a smart decision just as a strategic point for me to save somebody. And I'm not going to lie, Gail, I'm a little disappointed nobody got sent either. I really would have liked to see how that outcome could have came out and the cattiness in the house, but I think that the show's already been interesting enough for everybody, so it worked out well in the end.
That's true, it's true. Well, getting down to the golf, it was funny how putting made such a big difference in this week's show. We saw Lily lip out right in the 5-foot putt. Where she and Sara had trouble, and yet the next time when she chunked the greenside bunker, then she one putt and she was in the cup, and then she had such an amazing putt later in the show where she actually ended up being maybe 20 feet short of the pin and just holing it. So it's funny that 5-foot miss didn't affect the putting for the rest of the show for her. She actually was pretty solid.
I tell you, like, she kind of had a slow start on the show, and then all of a sudden it was like she missed that little putt, and I think it kind of, lit the fire under her a little bit, and she's such a spicy little character. Every time you watch her, she's always kind of full of life, and I think maybe that motivated her to really get the ball rolling. And when she made that putt on the par 3, that's when we were all like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we've been so consumed with Sarah Brown. I want to beat Sarah Brown. Got to take down Sarah Brown. Can't let her beat me. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I think I need to concentrate on Lily now. She's really kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. It's just sort of they have she was in the shadows a little bit, and people weren't paying enough attention to her because she didn't get caught up in some of the drama. So it's interesting to see what she does now. I'm hoping I may get a chance to talk to her before this is all through. Well, the thing, though, that was really, I think, stood out in the show was when Sara called a penalty on herself when the ball moved. Now, I don't know, did anybody else see that ball move, or was this all by herself where she called it on herself?
We were sitting very far away, probably 80 yards from the green, so obviously the players didn't see it move. And I remember the producers actually said to her, "Are you sure that it moved? Nobody else noticed that it moved." And she said, "Oh no, that ball moved." And then obviously when they slowed it down and put a little slow-mo, they saw that you could see it, that it did. So it was a good move by her to call it on herself, and golf is a gentleman and a lady sport, and you have to be honest and truthful, and you try to get away with things like that once in a while, then it's just going to bite you in the end. So I was impressed for that.
Yeah, no, I thought that was pretty impressive, and just immediately called it right away. So I was really, happy to see her do that. Well, you almost turned into Aquawoman on the show, hitting out of the water there in the mud. So I guess, you really had nothing to lose to do that, but you could have hurt yourself.
No, you know what? It was really funny, Gail, because I hit it in the water, and the producers are like, well, she's out. And I'm like, okay, and I get up there, and I'm like, did anybody find my ball? And they're like, no, we didn't even look for it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm still in this. I can still hit it in the hole. And they all watched me as I searched for my ball all by myself, and I'm like, I found it right there. And they're like, you're going to hit it? And I'm like, for $5,000, I'll hit it from the top of the mountain. You never know. And the big break rolls out loud. So I just obviously didn't want to mess up my nice little outfit. So I put on the rain gear and It wasn't the best attempt, though. I'm not going to lie. That ball will never be found.
Well, it's so true about, professional golfers. They never give up. I mean, so many people in life give up too quickly, but golfers set a lesson in life when it talks about persistence and perseverance. You went and you found it and you hit it. And, whether it's stuck, deeper in the mud, doesn't matter. It was the fact that you did that was so impressive. So we saw some really impressive stuff on this week's show, not only in the golf shots, but also in the personalities of people. Yeah.
The big break can get you down. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of interviews and a lot of tough golf, so it's easy to be like, I'm done. I'm just going to go home. I just can't handle this anymore. It's like, even though you don't say that, you think it a little bit mentally, and it's important to really stay tough. It's really hard to do. Oh, yeah. No, I can see that. Well, speaking of tough, the elimination challenge, Taryn said, I'm pretty comfortable with these. She's been in them before. But, you'd never gone that far, and suddenly you were facing, Sara and Taryn, who could be sort of a dark horse in all this. She could have come through. She certainly showed that she has some of the shots in her bag that she can make it. So, how are you feeling going into that? It was a whole different kind of feeling going into that final elimination, because I've never been to that point where this is it. You mess up, you're going home on this challenge. So I went in there, and I can even see in my face watching it back that you can tell I was nervous. I wasn't as smiley and as dancey. I had, game face on. I was really ready to do it. And you can see from that it didn't even help me at all, because on the first part of the challenge I messed it up, and then I kind of told myself I need to relax, breathe some deep breaths, and then I was able to come back and do well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And, it was impressive that stance you took in the rocks and there. And I think we called it a baseball stance. When you hit your hybrid quite a bit left, you didn't give up again, and you stuck to it, and you ended up on the green. I mean, yeah, you're a bit far from the hole, but that was impressive.
Oh, thank you. You know what? That was so weird. I was lucky to even have a stance in the rocks, but I didn't hit that bad of a hybrid out there. Right when I hit it, I thought that's going to be good. And then in my interview, I'm like, it's floating. All my dreams and hopes are going to go on the water, and then it hit the rocks just barely. And it was a tough shot off the tee with all that wind. But I try not to give up. Like you said, I gave it a good punch on the green, and I actually thought it was on the green. Like, I thought, oh, right, I got to putt at this. And I'm kind of, strutting my stuff up to the green, and I was surprised that I even had to chip. So it just couldn't imagine all the tension going through my body at that point.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it was interesting because we thought Taryn's ball had gone so far right, and then hers ended up, not being that far right. So the wind obviously was playing a lot with your balls out there, and it certainly was a tough elimination challenge, tough immunity challenge, just tough golf all day long, and you must have been exhausted at the end of that day.
When Taryn hit her drive, I swear I thought she was about a foot from hitting the houses. And then it cleared the houses, and then the wind brought it all the way back middle of the fairway. And I thought, wow, that's a way better way to play that shot. So you're right.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's better not to be first on some of these shots, when you get to see what happens to the ball in the air. So, but anyway, sorry to see Taryn go home, but happy to see you still there, fighting through to the end. So anything you want to close with today, Curling, about the show that we didn't see, or anything you want to mention?
Oh, I thought this was a great episode. This one actually showed some really good golf, and I was happy that I could show people that I could do well in the final elimination, because that really proved how good of a player you are under that intense pressure. So to drop some nice putts, to hit some good chips, I really had a lot of good momentum going into the next episode. Oh,
that's great. Well, can't wait to watch it on Monday night, and hopefully talk to you again next week. And you have a great time in Richmond and play well and have fun at it in that blistering heat.
Thank you, Gail. I'll be talking to you next week.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.